This happened about on the 30th of September, so like 2 days ago. And basically, Mboweni said in Parliament, I think this was in Parliament, he's the finance minister in South Africa, and he says that Forex trading is illegal in South Africa. And basically, the thing with South African politicians is when they're given the opportunity to speak, they not only confuse the entire world, they end up confusing themselves as well. Because everyone was left confused after what he was saying, because it would mean essentially that this entire big market is illegal. And we're going to get into what he said. So he starts off, it's quite a short article. It was written by this woman named Linda. And so in business, I think it's called Business Live. Everyone's quoting this article, by the way. He basically starts off by saying that people from outside South Africa cannot trade Forex. And he was saying that would mean like people who aren't South African citizens or residents, maybe because they're causing scams or they come and they steal from South Africans, which I think is similar to like trying to control like Crowd One and those kind of companies, which makes sense to me. But then he goes on to even say that Forex trading by individuals is not allowed. SA and SA residents are not permitted to speculate against the rand, right? So Dennis Ryder, who's part of the DA, the party here in South Africa, asked the minister, but how is that possible when people are participating in it? So are they participating in illegal activity? And he says, yes, they are. And he says the reason to stop all of this is because there's a lot of scams going around. And essentially, online platforms advertising Forex trading are not allowed and they're illegal in South Africa. It's similar to online gambling, right? And he says the problem is that the platforms that offer these services are foreign companies, and they take South Africans' monies, and that money doesn't go into a South African bank. So it's very difficult to regulate. Now, here's the thing though. He said that the easiest way to catch these companies is by arresting South Africans who use their domestic debit cards or credit cards to invest in these companies. So when you make an online payment, the bank will obviously know that you deposited in some broker's account. So obviously it's easier to catch you, which doesn't make any sense to me at this point, because I'm thinking like it's like someone who has a child who's doing drugs. Instead of just going and getting the drug seller arrested, you're basically trying to avoid your child leaving the house, and you're holding your child prisoner instead of actually fixing the actual problem, which is when we were going around telling them about some of these scam brokers and things like that, the FSCA financial industry was just quiet. And then now they want to ban those who participate, individuals, regular people. And especially since 3 million people in South Africa have lost their jobs during the COVID pandemic, it really doesn't make any sense to control the individuals and not have these companies arrested. The same way they only intervened in JP markets, which I'm going to get to. Um, Instead of stopping these brokers and these companies, now they're going after South Africans who use their debit cards and their credit cards. So basically, he's saying that he's going to help you get help from the Financial Services Conduct Authority and get some of these people arrested. Uh, which had everyone very confused. So what I ended up doing, and here's why I was confused, because the FSCA gives these brokers licenses. So the FSCA gives, for example, these are some of the regulated brokers: Ava Trade, FXTM, Blackstone, CM Trading, Hot Forex, IG, FX Pro, Quasi. They're all regulated brokers. So it doesn't make any sense for you to wake up and just say, you know what, I'm banning every single online forex trading, right? He was asked about online forex trading and he said it's illegal. And so obviously everyone was left confused. And then what I did was I emailed the lady who wrote the article, and I wanted to ask because everyone was just very confused. And so basically I contacted Linda, and Linda said, well, she showed me this reply that was later sent. It was basically the Mr. Ryder who who I just talked about, who's from the DA, who asked the Minister of Finance to finally explain. And then when he explained, I think what he was trying to say is that brokers who aren't regulated, who don't have an FXCM license, they're the ones who he's concerned about. So he's not talking about your brokers who have licenses with the FSCA. No, 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 no. He's talking about those online brokers who just pop up on ads and who people pay lots of money who say deposit 10,000, you'll get 50,000. Those are the ones he's talking about. And then he goes on again and says that individuals trading Forex is illegal and you'll be arrested, right? And he lists so many financial regulations. I'm not going to get into them. If you really wanted, you can obviously search this reply, you'll find it online. And so he clarifies a lot of the things he was saying. And so he was saying that you must use an authorized dealer or a dealer with limited authority if you want to exchange Forex. Now, here's where things get complicated. There's a difference between the Forex trading he knows and the online Forex trading that regular people know. He's talking about the Forex trading that, say, I'm a foreigner, right? The one I use when I want to pay my tuition, where I go to someone and I say, hey, I have US dollars, I need South African rand. The rand has just dropped because Ramaphosa has said something. I want to take advantage of the rand falling. I want to pay my tuition. So, for example, he's talking about that kind of activity that I do. That is illegal. And in my home country, they also introduced the exact same law where it's illegal because people like that, essentially, when the rand is falling, they take advantage of that fall and they cause unnecessary speculation. And so that's the illegal activity he's talking about. And he says you need a authorized dealer to perform that exchange. The reason why I don't use an authorized dealer when I'm exchanging, say, for big amounts like that, when I have US dollars and I want rands, is because these authorized dealers, they charge like triple or four times the regular South African. It's unnecessary. So, for example, if the rand was trading before COVID at 13 rands at a dollar, these authorized dealer will be charging you, no, I'll give you 7 rands for $1. So it's insane charges. And then he clarifies and he says there's a difference. Well, thank goodness he clarified. The trading you and I do online is it's not Forex trading exactly. It's what's called CFD, contract for difference. That's essentially what it is. So we are not exactly buying or selling the rand, even though it seems that we are. We aren't exactly buying or selling the rand. And so with things like CFDs, he said he's fine with that kind of trading. So if you're trading on your XM account, your Ava trade, he's fine because that's what's called contracts for difference. It's very different to the Forex trading that I'm talking about, where I'm saying foreigners um, exchange the rand for the US dollar and they speculate against the rand, and then South Africans help us to do that. So that's what he's talking about, and he's saying it's illegal. Um, it didn't make sense for him to say that contracts for difference trading is illegal because the FSCA basically gives licenses out. So that wouldn't have made any sense whatsoever. And if you don't know what contracts for difference are, essentially what happens is when you place a trade on, say we're dealing with XM, the platform, when you place a trade and you say sell, you are making money on the difference because it's similar to spread betting, where if you say you're selling, you're buying another opposite currency on the pair, right? So you make a difference where the price goes up or down and you guessed correctly. That's essentially why it's called a contract for difference. You are not exactly buying and holding the physical gold or the physical silver. You are trading the contracts for difference. That's what you're making money off of. So the broker is making money when you lose, and you are making money when you're withdrawing. That's the fundamental difference. So you aren't actually holding the euro, you're not holding the rand, which makes it very difficult to understand for most people when I explain to them and I say sell, and they're like, okay, how can I sell something I'm not holding? There's a very big difference. Anyways, so that's just what it is. And FSCM has clarified and they've said, listen, what he's talking about isn't the brokers we give licenses to. He's talking about the physical trading I was talking about. So your normal FX trading, that's fine. That's contract for difference. There's no problem with that.